Okay, now I want to talk about the importance of complete and open honesty about your sex life with yourself, with other men, and with your sexual partners. Let's just jump right in. Number one, be honest with yourself about your sex life. Here's what I mean by that. It seems obvious that we should be honest with ourselves about just about everything, right? Well, this is easier said than done. First, because there's so much stigma and shame around sex and self pleasure historically that we are just not accustomed to being fully honest with ourselves and others about sex. So it takes some extra bravery and effort to make this happen. The second thing is that we have blind spots. We all have them. The truth is, you can't be honest about things that you're not even aware of. And that's a big part of this course, creating awareness of what is happening sexually for you in your body and also in your mind. This is why in this course, I'm so committed to you journaling about your blocks. Your blocks are basically the things that you might feel ashamed of about your sexuality. For instance, what is it that makes it difficult to stay hard or keep from ejaculating too quickly or getting anxious? These blocks are usually what we're trying to hide from people. So we address them head on in this course. There are 10 short videos in sexual blocks. If you haven't worked on those yet, go check them out after watching this video. So the most important thing here is for you to commit to a journey of getting to know yourself sexually. That's really what this course is all about, getting to know yourself in as nuanced a way as possible. The results you get will be based on how honest with yourself and aware you are about your sex. If you focus on self-awareness and learning in this process, the results will just happen by themselves. The key here is don't get too focused on the results. Focus on awareness and learning. Here's why. When we get too focused on results, we're just not on focus on the reality about where we actually are in the moment and what steps need to be taken in order to gain more skills. Instead, we get kind of preoccupied with the end result, what we want ultimately. When we're preoccupied with the end result, we don't take the steps necessary to actually get there. So you can kind of see the dilemma, right? In order to get where we want to go, we need to take steps one by one to get there. If you are too focused on the prize at the end, you are not focused enough on the present moment and on the micro step that you're on right now that you need to take in order to get there. So be honest with yourself about where you are in each part of your practice, whether it's your edging practice or journaling about blocks or working on moving energy, your mindsets, etc. Be honest with yourself about where you are right now. Then you keep practicing from this relaxed, accepting awareness of where you actually are. Now, sometimes it's a hit to our ego to recognize where we are in the process. For example, you might need to accept that the first steps you need to take are to just shed porn, or you need to just be able to get an erection without fantasy before trying to move on to achieving non-ejaculatory orgasms. I'll just tell you that you will get there if you accept where you are now and take the small steps through practice that you need to get there. Now, a little disclaimer. Being honest with yourself about sex includes all kinds of things. How you like to treat women, what you want sexually, how much you want sex, all kinds of things. We are not covering those in this course because here we are focused on you connecting with yourself and gaining mastery in your own body and your mind around sex. So for the purpose of this course, what I want you to be honest with yourself about are, number one, what feels good to you in your sex life and in self-pleasure? What do you like to feel in your body? What types of emotional energies do you like to bring to sex? Love or more dominant energy or fierceness or wildness? What works for you? For now, I don't want you to worry about any of the pieces that have to do with fantasy or visual stimulation. We're focused more on present and embodiment in this course. I also highly recommend the erotic blueprints as a way to understand your sex life better. I'm not going to go into it right now. Look it up online, erotic blueprints. The second thing I want you to be honest about with yourself is what you are currently capable of in your sex and self pleasure right now. For instance, can you feel orgasmic energy moving through your body? How long can you extend your self pleasure? Where are your blocks? What positions work better for you and which are more challenging? How relaxed can you be? How much have you actually practiced? Are you trying to master a skill without actually doing the work? There's all kinds of things that you can be paying attention to, and that's what we cover in this course. So focus on those micro skills that we work on here. The key is to focus on these and gauge accurately where you are and where you need to practice. I'll also just say that humility and self-acceptance are mindsets that are so important along this path. Trying to be perfect or better than other people is just going to get in your way. Do your best to notice the parts of you that use sex as a way to feel better about yourself or compare yourself to other people. Then commit to a practice of self-acceptance, humility, and self-love. Do this especially when you perceive that you have failed or you're struggling with a skill. Give yourself grace. This is half of the battle. As I've said before, the first half of what we're learning in this course is sexual self-mastery. The second half is self-acceptance, forgiveness, and self-love. Okay, let's move on to number 2. Be honest with other men about your sex life. We need to be communicating honestly with other men about our sex life and about self-pleasure. That's one reason I want to create this community. We need to practice being honest and getting support around our sex lives. And I think the best place to start with that is with other men. Why is that? Because other men are probably also experiencing sexual concerns similar to you. And if they're not, they will appreciate you being honest with them about your sex life. Now, I just want to say one thing, because a lot of you are probably thinking this. If men you bring this to are critical toward you about bringing it up or critical about your current dilemmas around sex, I want you to seriously consider how close a friend that man actually is. Tell men in your life you're working on this. Ask them what their challenges have been. Talk to them about what you're learning and where you want to go with the practice and why you want to go there. This is going to help you open up and help chip away at the shame and secrecy that motivates men to just try to perform in bed. It might also help them open up. This is not about performance. This is about presence. It's about connection with ourselves and other people. It's about growing and learning to be all of who we can be. And we do this best in community. I think it's best to start with other men. Okay, now, number 3, be completely honest with your sexual partners about where you are in this journey. The first thing I want to say is that this is hard. It might feel really vulnerable and threatening to a relationship for you to bring this up. So only you can judge where you are in the relationship and how safe it is to bring this up with them. Of course, it also depends on the emotional safety in the relationship. If you've just met someone, it could be harder than if you have been in a long-term supportive relationship. What I recommend is being as honest as possible with your sexual partners about where you are in this journey. I recommend telling your partner that you are working on mastering your ability to manage ejaculation so that you can be as present as possible with them. And this is just where you are right now. You're being honest with them about it. Open up a dialogue with them. If you feel comfortable enough with them and they're willing to work with you on this, you could even tell them how they might support you in mastering these skills. For example, the two of you could have language you use to indicate what you need, like slowing down or pausing or changing position or whatever. Each situation is different, but the main thing here is that you are completely honest. Do this as a conversation when you're not in an intimate situation, as a preface. Don't just drop it on them during a sexual experience. Also, be prepared to communicate openly and vulnerably during intimacy, both. Now, all of this communication will relax your nervous system because you won't be trying to avoid ejaculating or trying to perform. You'll just communicate instead. Now, relationships are complicated, so there might need to be some work on your end to be able to communicate this fully with a partner. This could be a situation where one on one or group coaching might really help to get the nuances clarified, and that will help you take small steps toward full honesty and freedom. I hope this has clarified for you why I think full honesty is such an important and powerful goal when it comes to your sexuality. Make it a longer term target if it's hard to do all at once. Chip away at your fear of opening up. You're going to feel so much more freedom and confidence once you've mastered this incredibly important skill.